Air pollution is very real, and we're going to explain in this video what is going on. This is just going to be an introduction to a multi-part series that will talk about air pollution, the causes of it, how we can stop it, and how it is different in other cities, what policy solutions could actually go and improve, and various other things that will be mentioned in this series. And first, to start, we are going to be reacting and analyzing a video from Vox about air pollution.
This is a highway in India, near Delhi. The smog here was so thick, drivers couldn't see where they were going. At least 24 vehicles were damaged as drivers kept crashing into the pileup. These conditions happen every year when Delhi experiences a huge spike in air pollution.
Okay, so first to start off, we can very easily see in this graph that it reaches hazardous periods at least even like once, maybe twice a year. We can see here that in the graph that in February or around January, February of 2016, that there was a huge spike in air pollution, and also around the late October, early November period. And this is when it gets to hazardous. This is when it's horrible air pollution. And then just when it reaches the threshold of very unhealthy, this is quite a bit of the time. Here we could see it's around September to February. And that is a pattern that is almost every year. And the unhealthy period is most of the rest of the year. The only period when it is beneath the threshold of 50 particles per cubic meter is in around the mid-months, like June, July. And this is also a period that happens every year. But the air is hazardous. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the air is hazardous, reaches above 250 micrograms of particles per cubic meter. This is not good, and let's check the rest of the video.
Are we breathing poison in Delhi?
Every 2 minutes, one person dies due to air pollution in this country.
1.2 million deaths. 1.2 million deaths for air pollution in India. India, you could bring up the argument that India is a large country, but again, 1.2 million deaths per year. This is not good. Let's check the rest of the video.
I get nauseous, I get dizzy.
हॉस्पिटल या फैमिली डॉक्टर के पास जाके दिखाना पड़ता है.
When it hits, the nearly 30 million people here are forced to live in a toxic cloud. Scientists estimate that spending a day outside in these conditions is like smoking 50 cigarettes.
50 cigarettes. 50 cigarettes for spending a day in Delhi. That's how toxic it is. Let's check.
Lung surgeon, when I open the chest, I rarely see a normal pink lung these days.
On the ground, a layer of dust covers the entire city, and in the air, a thick layer of pollution hides landmarks that are easy to see the rest of the year. Delhi has always been a big, busy, polluted city, but in the last decade, something is making it even worse. In the last 10 years, Delhi's population has grown by more than 7 million people. Today, it's the second largest city in the world.
Okay, so let's check Delhi's air quality right now. It is February, so this is in that period of when it would be in the very unhealthy range. But let's check what it is in other cities compared to Delhi. As you can see, this is very unhealthy. This is not good, and this is a problem. What does Delhi do differently? And what is the real problem of air pollution in India?
Air pollution consists of chemicals or particles in the atmosphere that pose serious health and environmental threats. But what causes air pollution, and what does it mean for our planet? Some air pollution comes from natural sources like volcanic eruptions, wildfires, or allergens. But most air pollution results from human activities, such as energy use and agriculture. There are different types of human-made air pollution.
Yeah, so just to get started, air pollution, it's mostly human-made. It's not completely synonymous to climate change like CO2, but pollution is quite common in these large cities, especially Delhi, as we mentioned, Indian cities. And there are different types. We're going to get started on which ones are some of these.
When we burn fossil fuels to produce energy, they release greenhouse gases into the air. These emissions, such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases, trap heat from the sun in Earth's atmosphere, leading to a rise in global temperatures. This creates a cycle where air pollution contributes to climate change, and climate change creates higher temperatures. In turn, higher temperatures intensify some types of air pollution. For example, climate change increases smog.
Okay, so greenhouse gases, they can increase smog, have a rise in mold, and more pollen. These are examples of things that could impact the air quality, but there are also more.
Because it forms in the presence of high heat and increased levels of ultraviolet radiation. More frequent extreme weather, such as flooding, contributes to damp conditions and therefore to a rise in mold. Warmer weather also leads to longer pollen seasons and therefore more pollen production. Smog is a type of air pollution that reduces visibility and has serious health effects. Smog can be divided into two categories: sulfurous and photochemical. Sulfurous smog is made up of chemical compounds called sulfur oxides. It occurs when burning sulfur-bearing fossil fuels such as...
So again, as mentioned, the second cause is smog. A lot of these are more general, but when compared to larger cities, these are again common. Delhi is one of them. But there's also a bigger thing at hand. This video is basically going to talk about why Delhi does have this type of air pollution, and we're going to be we'll lead you to the next source. This is by NDTV, so this is quite a popular source in India. And let's see. We'll start in 3, 2, 1.
आज हम लोग एयर क्वालिटी कमीशन के चेयरपर्सन मिस्टर कुट्टी से मिले। उन्होंने कहा है कि जो हमने रिपोर्ट बनाई है, जो एयर क्वालिटी सही रहे, उसके लिए उन्होंने बाकायदा डायरेक्शन दिए हैं और ये पॉलिसी बनाई है जो उन्होंने भेजी है। अब दिल्ली में भी आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार है, पंजाब में भी आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार है। पंजाब में लगातार पराली जलाई जाने की घटनाएं हो रही हैं, लेकिन मुख्यमंत्री जी पॉलिटिकल टूरिज्म में व्यस्त है। आज भी जब दिल्ली इतने खतरनाक प्रदूषण स्तर से गुजर रहा है, तब भी वो दिल्ली से बाहर राजनीति करने में व्यस्त है। असली जो समस्या है पंजाब में पराली के जलाए जाने है, जिसके कारण से वायु प्रदूषण हो रहा है, दिल्ली में बढ़ रहा है, और पंजाब में आम आदमी पार्टी और दिल्ली में आम आदमी पार्टी के नेता कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे।
Okay, so just to summarize what this is saying, this is in Hindi, so we're just to translate this. He's saying that there are farm fires in Punjab, and despite these farm fires in Punjab, in Delhi, they still aren't doing anything. The government isn't doing anything, and they're trying to, even though they're trying to promote the tourism, and the population is growing, they're still not doing anything about the toxic cloud of smoke in the air. And what exactly is going on? Why is the government not doing anything? And if they are doing something, why are they not telling us? What is going on? Why is the education about air pollution so low? And it's not just, it's kind of beyond what we're actually seeing, but it is very common, and a lot of people do not know about this. Why do they not know? Why is this not something about being educated? Why is the government not doing something to prevent? With a country as powerful as India, with such a high GDP, and with so many people in like the billions, why are they not learning what they can do from either neighbors or the Western world, and check how does like prevent this? The farm fires, this is affecting the entire northern plains. what is India actually doing here? And this is something that is going to be talked about in later videos, but this is something that definitely needs to be addressed. Now, this is the last source that we're going to use. So we're going to move on to some statistics. According to NDTV, the previous source that we were looking at, even to the Indian national standards, the residents stand to lose 8.5 years of life expectancy in Delhi if the current pollution levels will persist. And this is the most populous city in India. So this could be the most polluted city, or at least the city with the pollution that affects the most people and has the largest magnitude and scone. So this is also something to mention, but it's not just Delhi, it's the entire northern plains. In the WHO guidelines, they're expected to lose an average of 12 years, or almost approximately 12 years of life expectancy. 12 years. That is over a decade. That is completely insane. And it's crazy. Like, is India looking at the science? Are they not? What exactly is going on? That's something that we stand to know, and that I'm also going to help explain in the later series that will be touched on more at the end of the video. Now, the next source is from World Bank. When working in India, they basically found this information. The entire population of India, 1.4 billion people, which is at least 1/6 of the world population right now, and they are being exposed to PM 2.5, which is the most harmful pollutant, and this is from multiple sources. We will talk about this more in the later, and just a brief bit. Mainly the fires, as mentioned earlier, from Punjab, but this is in the northern plains. There's also things happening southern. We'll talk about what's going on. And also, we found that 1.36% of the GDP is being lost because of air pollution. That is $36.8 billion, and it can go as high as to $47.7 billion. Insane amount of India's GDP. And we need to talk about what is this concern, why is this concern not being talked about more, and why is this silent killer getting away with everything? And what did the government do to cause this? And what are the people doing to cause this as well? This is something that I want to bring to the end of this video. And as we wrap up on these series, we can have a conclusion. India is currently quite polluted, especially Delhi. It has a higher air quality index compared to the other cities like Tokyo, Shanghai, and Sao Paulo. And this killer basically has resulted in the killing of India's GDP, like 1.5%, like 1.5% of India's GDP, as well as countless diseases and like developments neurodivergently, and also cancer, obesity. In adults, it's also quite prominent. It's not just children, and it's like an equivalent of smoking 50 cigarettes a day. Doctors haven't seen healthy lungs in days. This, I just want to wrap up, and during this series that I've been very longly touching upon, and this is going to be quite a long series, maybe lasting around a month, this series will talk about the air pollution, the causes of it, which are going to be in the future videos, including vehicle emissions, crop burning, which were the fires in Punjab, the road dust and household pollution, as well as industrial pollution, some of the consequences like health impacts and economic, the solutions, as well as what the government could be doing and what the government isn't doing, and what they can also learn from the Western world and also China. And also special reports, what is happening between the different cities? What's happening in Delhi? What's happening in Mumbai? What's happening in Calcutta? What is going on? And what could be even going beyond that? And also what is happening in rural areas? Like, India has quite a huge rural population. I think it's even more than half. What is going on there? What are the challenges in these villages compared to a city? Like, What's the difference between someone living in Mumbai and someone living in a completely rural area of Maharashtra? And also the future of air pollution. What happens if we don't do anything? What is going on? How is this being worsened? And what is the vision for a pollution-free, or at least a pollution-reduced India? How will this world look? How will India look? And this is something that, as we wrap this up, this long series will talk about it, and I am very glad to be pursuing this all with you guys. Thank you all for watching. If you want to learn more about the series, please click subscribe and the bell, and I will see you in the next video, which will be about the causes of air pollution in India. Peace.